guys, welcome to this video here, and in this video I'd like to just go over the patterns that are in the realm of possibility of being presented to you on your MDT. So for example, this one here, this is all off the CDA website, so they have a bunch of patterns and I just printed them all off, so I'm going to go through them. And this one here, you can see here we have a flute, so this sloped end piece, the top here is called a flute, and the bottom is also fluted, as you can see. Here and here. That's called a flute. Here we have the saddle. So you're always going to have a saddle, right? In every single one of your carvings. In the middle somewhere, these dimensions can be different, but you'll always have some kind of saddle, and it will likely be 5 meters or 5 millimeters deep, right? So here we have two flutes, a saddle, which is 5 millimeters deep, and then we have a fluted square. So as you can see up here, this end piece is a square. Here is the end view of it, right? We can see obviously that it is a square. And each one of these sides is sloped in. So that's why we call it a fluted square. And then this section here is not measured, right? It's not marked. So this actually can be whatever you want it to be, obviously, if it falls within this range. If these numbers are correct, this distance here, it doesn't matter what that is. Alright, so moving on to the next pattern. That is the same as this one. So here we have what we call a notch. So this right here is a notch. And on your test, you will likely be presented with a pattern that will have a notch in it. So you'll have a notched end, and then you'll have a fluted end. That is most likely what you'll be presented with. They almost always give you one end of the soap has a notched section out of it, so it can be 20 or 25, and then the other one will also, the other side of that soap, or the same side but the opposite, will be 25 or 20, and it will likely be a flute, right? You most likely won't get two flutes or two notches. It will usually come one notch and one flute at the one end, right? So, and then we have again a saddle here, 5 millimeters deep, and then the end we also again have a fluted square, just like the last one. And in this one here, again, very common, you have the notched end here with the fluted, with the flute on the opposite side of it. Notched, fluted end. Then here we again have the saddle. This is 20, 25, 5 millimeters deep, right? And these usually they will always line up. So the distance for 25, if your notch is 25, your flute will also be 25. So when you do your circumferential lines all around, you're going to cover both this dimension and this dimension. So you're going to be able to carve both of these with that one circumferential line. You'll have the marking for both. Here you have the saddle, and then here you have an incomplete triangle. So as you can see from this view here, it's kind of like an ice cream cone, all right? So it's notched out, so it's notched incomplete triangle or partial triangle. So here it's a notch just like you have here. It's not fluted like the last one. This is on a slope, so it's fluted. This is a 90-degree angle, 90 degrees here. So you chop this out just like you chopped that out, and then on the other side too. And if you look from the end view, you can see kind of this ice cream cone shape, just like that. The top you don't touch, and you can see that again here. So here we can see that the top you don't touch, and here with the side view, and then the top view as well, right? The bottom view, we can see that both ends of this is the side of the triangle, right? This side here, this side here of the incomplete triangle. And here's the point, right here. Here is a nice complicated pattern. So what we have here is a long fluted square, right? So 6 mils for each side of this square on the end view. Then you have 4 sloped sides here. Then you have your saddle. Again, we'll go 4 millimeters deep. Then here, as you can see from this view, it's a complete triangle, but it's fluted, right? It's sloped. sloped, sloped all around. The dots means it's carved out, right? And again from the side view. So that's another possibility of an end piece. A complete triangle that's sloped. And then here we have a very similar pattern as well with the end piece, right? So it's a complete triangle that's sloped again. Again, you have your saddle, because they'll always have a saddle. And then here you have your notch, and then your flute at the other end. So this is a very common pattern. I might have even had this one when I wrote the DAT. I can't remember, it was a while ago, but I might have even had this one. All right. Here, it's a double flute, right? So you have a flute at the top and then at the bottom here. So they don't actually present you with a notched end on the one side. Here, you have an incomplete triangle, notched out again, just like the previous, the one before we looked at there. So we can see that from the top view again. So likely they won't actually present this with you, to you. My bets are they wouldn't, because they do like to present you with a notch and then a flute. So, I mean, it could be presented, it's in the realm of possibilities, and obviously practice it, but I'd say expect more so having this notched out and then this being a flute. And obviously your saddle again, and it's always 5 millimeters deep. Then here we have kind of a shallower flute, no notch at this end, but here, the reason they do that is because this is a complete triangle that's notched. That's kind of a complex. That's probably the hardest, I'd say, getting each one of these right. Also with the complete square that's notched, that's also pretty complicated as well. But here we have 10 mils up, so that's a bit different, right? More of a shallow flute, a larger saddle in the middle, so longer. This one's 25 now, and then the complete triangle. So every end is carved out. Yeah, that's the same one. All right. Yeah, well, I hope you learned a little bit out of this video, and now you know what to expect. So those are all the patterns that may be thrown at you on the MDT. And best of luck. I'll see you in the next video.